Hi, very good morning. Yes, first of all, my apology that last week I need to postpone the class last moment. Actually, it was so weird for me that I took vaccine and I have a strong reaction. But anyway, thank you very much for considering and for joining this session. And very good morning to everyone. I think shall I need to wait for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. I think we can start, right? So in our very first session, we discuss about the introduction of dependent origination. So I went through this a little bit slow, and I think it make understandable. So let me to share a little bit about about brief that what is dependent origination. So dependent origination is one of the very core and profound teaching was introduced by the Buddha 2,600 years ago. So it describes about the process of life, and it also help us to understand that origin and cessation of our dukkha or suffering or unease. So anyway, so today we are going to discuss about the 12-fold, 12 links of dependent origination. So let me open my PowerPoint. Sorry. Share the screen. Okay. Okay. So dependent origination, as we understand that, it is one of the profound teaching, and the method, the formula, it was consist of 12 links. So it can be the it can be the more, or it could be the less. But I think the Buddha's understanding, I mean, he would like to introduce the whole process of life within these 12 constituents. So he has this idea that why he introduced the 12 links, and why it is not the more than 12, or why it is not 13, 14, or 100, or why it is not less. Actually, it is he would like to make one standard format, and there's a clear structure of samsaric life. So that means that you can ask that what is samsara? Because samsara, it was the very oldest concept in India, but would I mean actually in Sanskrit it say samsara. So before the Buddha introduced the term samsara, the Upanishad period, this is a pre-Buddhist Indian philosophy. They talk the samsara as the like a the family life, or the chaotic lives, or some complicated issue as a samsara. But Buddha said that no, samsara is the process of life, and the process of life, regarding to the Buddhist doctrine, he added with the past or present and future too. So the entire life, it has been described as a samsara. So the objective of the 12 links he introduced to provide a clear structure of samsara or rotated life, and all the life is made up with 5 groups or 5 khandas. So within these 12 links, the 5 khanda, such as feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness, and form. So these are, it could be the related. You can see, we can go to the, we can see each of the link when you, when you discuss, we can see each of the link are related to the five faculties or five groups. So, and also within these 12 links, we can see the process of life in visible way. So let us, I would like to discuss a little bit about what is the visible way. It is a translation. I just translated from Sandittika and Akalika, the the main word. So sometimes maybe you can translate a scientific way too. So in the it's a dharma. It's like dharma means the truth. So as we discussed that, those who can understand the dependent origination, he can seize the truth. So here, understanding, it came from the, from the ultimate aspect. So Buddhism, it talk about the two truths always. Of course, there's obviously you can mention that maybe why not Four Noble Truths. Of course, this is another doctrinal aspect, but the primarily Buddhism aspect, and Buddhism described understanding Dharma. It described from two aspects. One is the conventional aspect, and another one is the ultimate aspect. So Dharma, realizing Dharma, is both is conventional and ultimate too. So Dharma, the term Dharma, as we discussed that, in our past class too, it has thousands of meaning. So now we have to clarify that from which aspect we are using the term Dharma. So dependent origination, it's a reflection of understanding Dharma. The Dharma is all about the truth of life, the truth of understanding the process of life. So when you go into the understanding into the process of life, we can see our emotional matters. We can see our feelings, ups and downs. We can see our problem, sufferings. We are enduring a lot of matters. So the entire process, to understand the entire life process, the patterns, it is the truth of the truth. I mean, it is also the truth of life. So the Buddha's objective, I mean, he said that you have to once need to be experienced by himself. It's not about the mere concept. It's more about experimental and more practical. So therefore, he used the term sanditiko and akaliko. So I'm sorry that all of you may be not familiar with the Pali term. Actually, this term is the oldest 2,000 years old scriptural. So there are so many translations, but I just I try my best to use the suitable translation to make it more understandable about this a few term. So Sanditika, a bit the truth. So Buddha emphasized that that's self-evident, that can be understood of the life itself. So all of the links, all of the like 12 links, it still can be visible. It can be see, you can feel it, you can observe this each of the term, and it can be, it has a open to scientific and other types of scrutiny, and it's not based on the faith. So it's nothing with about the about the blind, or just Buddha said I need to follow about that. No, it's nothing like this. It's about true experimental, to own understanding. All of the things, all of the factors, like we can go to the step by step, we can see clearly. clear understanding. And akaliko, this is another term, is about timeless. Some of the teaching are, some of the law of nature is timeless, such as our, how can I tell you? Like, since we are born, we need to be approached to the dead, die or dead. So birth and death is it's a law of the nature. So we can't change this. So nobody is immortal. And in the same way, so in this our process of the life and the nature of this in this samsaric life, some of the matter is unchangeable. Akaliko dharma, like the four noble truths. It's hard to say that there's no fifth noble truth or there's no sixth noble truth. There's a four noble truth, which as a few scholars they like to analyze to the play with the words, but they still come back to the this understanding that it's the four noble truth. Like it explained in very conventional language, like suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the way, the path, how to cease the suffering. These are the four noble truths. So those four noble truths, these are truth, this is the dharma. This is the really timeless. So I like to clear another statement here. Buddha's his methodological his teaching methodology and also his journey. Um, he speak regarding to the Kitagiri Sutra from Majjhima Nikaya 70. Actually, I uploaded this sutra on our canvas as well. So he said very clearly, I run after what is visible in this life, having abandoned what is temporal. So that means his clear approach, what is what can be self-evident and can be scientific, scientific, that means we can say rational way. It's nothing about the blind faith or mere faith. So I'm talking about a little bit about Abhidharmic explanation. So faith is good, but faith without wisdom is not helping to understand the truth. Faith should be based on understanding, based on the wisdom. So wisdom is very, 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 very. It have a many explanation, but that but the Buddhist teaching and the Buddha's teaching, it always encourages that it's a wisdom tradition, and it also encourages that to experiment, to investigate, to start the journey with the right investigation. So through the right investigation, you can truly experience that right wisdom. So of course, wisdom is based on your practice, morality, and also the right investigation as well. So in this term, Buddha also, one of the sutra from Sutta Nipata, it mentioned that wisdom is purified by morality. In the same way, morality is purified by wisdom. So there's another common reference for the Buddha's tradition or Buddha's teaching. He said that it is very, 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 very common, and many of the scholar and the monastic people, they're using this sutra very well, like from Kalama Sutra. There is one conversation between one of the scholar and the Buddha himself. So Buddha told to him that, very scientific way, he said that don't go or believe by reports, by legends, by tradition, or by scripture, by logical conjuncture, by inference, by analogies, by agreement, or through wandering those, by probability, or by the thought. This contemplate, by the thought. This contemplative is our teacher. So it means that always encourage not to run blindly. I mean, don't believe any words. You need to be investigate like a modern day research. We don't believe the report. We have to investigate. When you search when we are looking at a newspaper, we don't believe the report. I mean, we look at a few different papers and we investigate what is the right report. So in the way that what the Buddha said is not about, it's just a concept. It's still a concept until one does not investigate, inquiry by himself. Like here, I like this statue actually. I took this picture from DC last year. It was remind me actually the Buddha's statue. It just remind me like the Buddha had a Greek art. So Greek, this is a very earlier tradition of the Buddhist art. Actually the tradition of Buddha statue start like almost 700 to 800 years later after his passing away. So it helped me like to say that. I mean, sometime that some of our Buddhist friends, they share some quote with the Buddha's picture and something. It's a Buddha said, but it reminds me Buddha statues came about few hundred years later after the tradition after the Buddha's passing away. But it's not about the mere concept. It's all about the investigation that what the teaching is, whether it is right or wrong. Ultimately, you have to decide by yourself through using your wisdom. So in this this sutra strongly, I mean, it very clearly it analyzed that all phenomena have to be correctly understood in the field of dharma. Insight is operative throughout. So the reason to explain about the Sanditiko and the individual way and Akaliko, the timeless, is that so this is the very complicated terms, all the 12-fold links. So Buddha's objective to introduce us 12 links for then so that we can see that all the links are visible and all the links are correlated to the 5 faculties or 5 aggregates. So now we are as we know that another thing, like before I move to the next section, like the dharma, the meaning of dharma, Buddha also provide the definition that like more experimental, and dharma should be understood by oneself. Actually, he explained these 3 terms in 6 terms in Pali, but I choose these 3 terms like Opanayiko, Ehipachiko. So I just like to I just providing you the appropriate translation on this from this scripture. Dharma is Opanayika. That means dharma, it could be understood by oneself, and dharma is to be brought inside by oneself. So one need to be worked out by yourself. It's not teacher that provide you just instruction, to provide you this method, but ultimately you need to find out your own truth in your own way. So teacher speak his truth maybe based on his experimental, based on his understanding, or based on his journey. So it could be truth for himself, but sometimes it cannot be truth for me or for others. But one need to find out his own truth by investigating, by through using his wisdom. And another term is ehipashiko. That means I don't force you. It's nothing about the like you need to follow that blindly. You just come and see and investigate by yourself. If you like it, you see. If you don't like, you can ignore it. So this is the Buddha's approach, when he was delivering this term in his during his period, and his disciple, they have many argumentation. So he just clearly said that in humbly speak that is just remember we need to be follow the in a wise way. It's nothing about the mere faith. And also he said dharma can be perfectly realized and understand only by the noble one or noble disciple. Actually, no, he used the term noble. Actually, he used the noble term Arya, or it's like such a like a awakening one, or enlightened, as we translate into English. But I feel that, for my own understanding, is very appropriate if we can use the awakening one. So those who is awakened himself and awakened to others, so they really can realize the term dharma, the truth. So so the journey is to be awake, to make us awake. So the entire journey, I mean, it is our objective how to awake oneself. So awakening also based on the right mindfulness, or also mindfulness also developed by moral practice and right investigation, such as we say that dharma vichayo, right investigation. That's another term he mentioned. Actually, early Buddhist tradition and early Buddhist scripture, it emphasized every word repeatedly. If when you go to the scripture, the root tradition, so he always speak the term right investigation, right mindfulness, or right wisdom. He also used the term in front of the using the like mindfulness. He said right mindfulness sometimes. So right wisdom, he said. Like mindfulness, like for example, like mindfulness, it is a bit such a big topic, but the exact mindfulness, I mean, the proper one is the right mindfulness. So some people, like I just talking the conventional language, like some people are mindful when to have some business deal. They're mindful to uh, to get the business. Like I mean, they're mindful for many purposes, like marketing side or some other side. Like how can I explain to you? Like someone is mindful is they approach the talk I mean, to take some advantage from others. That is also mindfulness. That is a mindful approach. But maybe his purpose is something wrong, make some advantage for himself or something wrong, maybe some different way. So it is a mindful, but it's a wrong mindfulness. Buddha always, I mean, it's very interesting. Like he always emphasized the term like right mindfulness. People need to be, the term like right way. So right view, right wisdom. So anyway, so we are going to discuss about the next the back to our 12 links of dependent origination. So as we discussed that his way of introduce us this method just for just for using the term in the right way, and move forward and investigate all the factor very wisely and clearly. And if one have a doubt, they need to investigate more, they need to inquire more to remove the doubt. So there is nothing about like a mere concept. It's all about the understand, in a right investigation, right experimental, and also that based on your own understanding level. Like I'm talking the term the level. That means like someone can go very in depth, go more and more deeper. So, based on our leveling, how much we can be, how we can be go inside, inside into inside. So the practical way, like last week we discussed about theoretical aspect, like now we are moving to more practical aspect. So to understand the practical aspect, so we need to go discuss each of the link very clearly. So Buddha introduced 12 links of dependent origination. So he said that with the origin, I mean, as we know that these 12 links is start with ignorance and end up with birth and aging and death. So in between this, like we have a ignorance, mental fabrication, consciousness, mentality and materiality, sixfold sense basis, contact, feeling, craving, clinging, becoming, birth, aging, and death. So he gave in this method, he said that with the origination of ignorance, mental formation arises. So he gave the term step by step. All the 12 links start from ignorance and end up with the aging and death. And it is he categorized this as a forwarding orders, anuloma. And Buddha, and again, he also mentioned reversing order. So forwarding order, I mean, as we it start from the links start from the one after one, and it discuss about it. It helps us to understand that origin of whole mess of suffering. Actually, I took this translation. I mean, I don't know why Buddha said that. Ebamitassa kevalassa. I mean, when you translate this one, whole mess of suffering. I I I just take this the original word from the scripture. Maybe it can be that this is the origin of suffering. We also can say in that way too. But he said that this process, it showed the whole mess of suffering. So again, I'm just recalling again that forwarding order start from ignorance and end up with birth, aging, and death. So it can help us to understand about the root of dukkha, or the root of suffering. So dukkha is Pali and Sanskrit almost same. Pali said dukkha and Sanskrit say dukkha. Actually, we have a lot of translation, a lot of thousands of translation too. And actually, just last week I was listening our professor Ron's one of the lecture. He was introduced the dukkha as like an unclear state of the mind. So it is also one of the very makes sense, very clear translation. Also, dukkha is also can be translated like in the Buddhist scriptural way. We know about the eight types of dukkha, like pain, suffering, grief, lamentations, something like receiving some what is unpleasurable, something like this. So the objective, the idea is that we need to we need to find out the root of suffering. And since we understand the origin of suffering, now it helps us to work out how to break down, how to come out from the suffering. So to understand dukkha as the dukkha, I mean, to understand suffering as the suffering, we need to use as a wisdom. So Buddhist term and Buddhist literature, the Buddha's teaching always introduce us three characteristics. This about anicca, dukkha, anatta. That means impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So impermanence is about, as you know that, how can I tell you in English? Like nothing is permanent. And impermanence, I just give example like my body. My body, the energy I have right now is not same like in the evening time. Maybe after whole the work, I feel tired. So right now I have very good energy. Right now I'm healthy. In my 30s, I'm healthy, 40, 50, 60, 70, and I'm getting old and older. You can see our process of changing. Every day is changing. It's impermanence. It's a nature. It's the truth. Impermanence itself is a truth. So in our same way, our mind, our feeling, our perception, and all the things are, it's an impermanence. So suffering, Buddhist term, it was a very intellectually very explained like your happiness part. It also the part of suffering. So one of the scholar, Big Buddha also mentioned, in his one of his talk, he said like your happiness, it maybe lasted for a few hours, maybe few days. And again, you have to some inner conflict. Some again have something wrong happened, and we feel sad about that. So we can see that how our mental phenomena is changing from moment to moment, moment to moment, moment to moment. I use the term moment to moment. So time to time. So it's all our if we see very clearly, it's really impermanence. Our feeling is impermanence. So it is true. We cannot be denied the truth of impermanence. So what is arises, it is perish. What is originates, it vanquishes. It is all about our impermanence. So impermanence itself is the truth, and suffering is truth, and non-self. That's a very huge concept, self and non-self. So I just give you a little brief idea. The self is represent our ego, I. This is I. This is me. This is mine. So non-self is this is not I. This is not mine. This is not me. I mean, it is a very it is maybe some of you maybe very have a argument about that. How can it's possible? Actually, it's all of the teaching are explained from ultimate aspect. So there are two aspects called mental aspect and ultimate aspect. The Buddhist term being about the help you to cut off the journey from samsara. So samsara is the whole mess of suffering it represents, and another is nirvana is another state. Nirvana means freedom. You break, you cut off all the suffering. That means you are the state of nirvana. Is in the mental state of freedom. Nirvana, it have a many translation, but in this case, just let's let you to know, you can translate it as a mental state. Freedom, nirvana is a mental state of freedom. So it is as you know that the cycle, the same cycle, the 12 links. So the first cycle, the 12 links it help us to understand the origination of suffering, and the reversing order, it help us to understand the how can it came out from the suffering. How can I break down each of the links one after one? So I just try to explain to you very simple language. First, I need to understand my problem. So after I understand my problem, then I can work out how can I solve my problem. So within this formula, so it is just a method. I just tell again. I'm just share it. Repeat this term. It is the Buddha's experimental. It was his journey. It was his dissertation. It was his thesis. So in his journey, he understood that this is this could be like this, and he wanted to go beyond the samsaric life. He wanted to go beyond the, to understand the root of suffering. He found this truth. So maybe in our experience, maybe it can be different. Maybe we are working with more psychological issue, more physical issue. So, but we can experiment all these things through this within these 12 links. So now we can say. So at this point, excuse me, at this point, do anybody have any kind of question or something? That means we all are good.
So freedom is without suffering, basically, then.
Yes, freedom is without suffering. And it is liberation. Also, we translate. Yeah, freedom is without suffering. Yeah.
So then, freedom is, I guess, not ignorance.
Freedom is beyond ignorance. So now the question is that what kind of freedom you are looking for? That's the thing. I mean, freedom is an English term. I'm talking from nirvana. So it's a freedom from bondage of this samsaric, samsaric, and yeah, it is the extinction of suffering, you can say.
So without even though we can have freedom without suffering, I guess that there's always that seed that starts with ignorance.
Yes, according to the yes, it is ignorance. We start with ignorance according to so, right. So yeah. So please feel free that anyone please ask any question. Then I feel that then maybe all of you can get the point. So again, I am sharing that the forwarding of the order of dependent origination, it helps us to understand the origination of the suffering, and reversing order of dependent origination, it provides the clear instruction instruction about how can we break out from the suffering, from our dukkha. So now we are moving to the we are going to the first link of ignorance. So according to this formula, Buddha said that with the origination of ignorance, mental formation arises. And also another way we can see that ignorance is the key term for all the whole mess of suffering. And ignorance, it came in Sanskrit, say avidya, or Pali avidya. So we translate into English like normally ignorance, like ignorance of lack of knowledge. But in Buddhist aspect, ignorance for what? Ignorance is about the lack of knowing the Four Noble Truths. So, I mean, Four Noble Truths, as you know, that is about suffering, its origin, its cessation, and the way to cessation. So it's talk about all about the Four Noble Truth can be it explain, it is the truth, it is the universal law. I mean, we cannot be denied this truth. So from ultimate aspect, once became ignorance, those he is ignorance who doesn't have enough understanding on the Four Noble Truths. So I also like this term, like both of these very good scholars, Paul Williams and Rupert Getting, one of the very pioneer scholars in Buddhist studies field. So both of these scholars, they mentioned that ignorance as a positive misconception and not the mere absence of knowledge. So it's talk about the almost the same, like not understanding. I mean, not to go to the exact concept. What is he ignorant about? And he doesn't know where he need to go, his destination. So that is ignorance. So in the same way, like back to our practice life or Buddhist, mindfulness practice or Buddhist path, we came to the meditation practice. We should know why should we are going for meditation, and how. I mean, what am I looking for by practicing these things, this meditation or mindfulness practice, calm down. So it's also all about the knowing the path. So that is wisdom. Knowing the path, knowing the journey, knowing the time, knowing what am I doing. That is all about it's the wisdom, and that is not ignorance. It's all about even the what am I talking, what am I doing, what am I researching. I'm knowing that why am I doing this kind of works. So knowing exactly the reason. And I mean, within knowing, we can satisfied. We are okay. We accept it. That yes, we're doing this is the right way. So ignorance, this is a first link, and it was the root for all the suffering. But when you go to the many in depth later on after the next class as well, when you discuss the more links, and you can see that how ignorance is related to our attachment and craving, our greed and attachment. So but for today that we start, like ignorance is playing the key role for the root of the. Yes, Samantha. Hi, Samantha.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm just unmuting myself. I was just thinking now, this word ignorance,
Yes.
that covers a wide topic. So in order for one to eradicate the ignorance, the antidote will be the right view. So do we need to, like, as Buddha says, as Buddha made a list of all the things, like, to get our view correct. So because we need to have a goal, how to and to get rid of our ignorance, like understand the like even this dependent origination, the five aggregates and all the different dhammas. So is there a list of all the dhammas that is in a book that we need to actually read and learn the dhammas in order to counteract the ignorance, so that we know what we're aware of, something to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. Yeah, thanks for asking, Samantha. What I understand that the whole the teaching, as you know, the from the Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition, we know the Tripitaka, the three baskets. So there are so many discourses, as sometimes we say that 84,000 of the Dharma, something like this. But yeah, there's some, but he did not mention directly what need to do. But some of the discourses, like for example, one discourse named Sammaditthi Sutra, is talk about the right view, the discourse of right view. It mentioned about the what is the right view and what is wrong view. So in this sutra, we can see that the view, it discuss about the 6 ways. Like there are 6 philosophical viewpoints in the earlier aspect in the time of the Buddha, in the Buddha. So the 6 philosophical point, it became into the two philosophical viewpoint. In briefly, one is that one is the materialistic viewpoint, and another one is that Anihilism or nihilist. Maybe someone said that nihilist or Anihilism viewpoint. So he said that like Materialistic viewpoint is talk about atta, like self, and it believed that there is a creation of the God, so life after life. So there's this soul, this entity is never extinguished. It always be there, one life after another life. So we need to do whatever we do, we need to do for God. So we need to make him happy. So and it produces a lot of concept and idea based on this viewpoint. And another one is that Anihilism. So this Anihilism viewpoint, like Uchetavada, it says about wrong. I mean the after you die or after something, they don't believe karma. That means you can do whatever you like to do. Like, so that is very dangerous. That means like someone can kill two people that don't have fear to their consequences. So Buddha came to this part and he explained in the skillful way by avoiding all the slang language and all the conceptual dialogue. He said that so my teaching is the right view is represent to the middle way, or Majjhima Patipada, middle way exposition. So middle way means that by avoiding the extreme view, like materialistic view, is neither extreme nor non-extreme, neither in eternalism nor nihilism, nor nihilism.
Yeah.
So this is the Sammaditthi one sutra, Sammaditthi sutra. And another sutra, in the same way, another sutra is called Samanyapala Sutra. It is Dirgha Nikaya number 2, sutra number 2. It also mentioned about the 6 philosophical teachers and why he rejected those teachers and what was the argumentation about that. And another sutra is called the Brahmajala Sutra. Brahmajala means the discourses about the right view. It is from Dirgha Nikaya. I cannot remember the number. Maybe number. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the number. So it's from the Dirgha Nikaya. So in this sutra, it talks about the 62 types of the wrong view, according to the traditional belief. Like, and one of the belief are very funny. Like one of every day one of the like some people they worship to the sun. Every day early morning, some people go to the take a shower into the river in the past Indian life. So he taking shower and when the sun was rising and he started to worship to the sun, something like this. And Buddha saw this guy and he said that, what are you doing? He said, well, my teacher said I need to worship to the sun. So by this way, I worship to the my teacher and my elder. So he came out to this. This is the wrong view. You don't know. You have to worship. It's nothing about the worship. You have to respect your teacher or something by following his teaching, not just like follow some kind of tradition, some traditional belief. So by this way, there are 62 kinds of the wrong view we can see in the past. Even still is existing in Southeast Asia. We can see a lot of tradition in that way. So it talk about what is the right view and what is wrong view. So all about the more about the scientific explanation, and all about the clear understanding, like come and see and investigate by yourself. In the past, in the earlier slide we mentioned that about Sandittika and Akaliko. So that's why so like
So it's just by reading all the suttas, you get a picture of all the different views.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah.
Lovely.
And please, yes, I cannot see your name. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you too. And another question, and I see that. Yeah.
Sandro, I was just thinking,
Hi, Jeff.
specifically with the slide you have right now, ignorance is a positive misconception.
Yeah.
It seems to me a good place to start was where you already had talked earlier about the 3 characteristics. And it would seem to me that not understanding suffering, as you mentioned, the Four Noble Truths, not understanding impermanence, and having a false view of self would be a good place to start one's journey, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for pointing out this one. Yeah, I think it is actually it is a long topic. Many things are related. Actually, we cannot be. It is interrelated somehow. So even it is dependent origination, is we are talking only one formula, but to get a more understanding, I mean, everything comes, we need to be related and discuss more and more. You can clarify it, about all the every single concept. So yes, we are, ignorance is yeah. It makes sense actually. Like Professor Rupert Gettin and Paul Williams also, both of them they agree this meaning, like it's a positive misconception somehow. And ignorance in another way, and Buddhist way, like it mentioned about the not understand the reality. I found in the sutra also every time it mentioned like it's an absence of the knowledge and also an absence of vision according to the reality. So it came as it's being us more practical way. This term is mentioned in the earlier sutra too. So maybe many ways you can see the term that the way as it is, or this term mentioned, or the reality. So that's why I keep the term like I mean, for all of you convenience, like Yathabhutayana Dassana. Within parentheses, I keep the root Pali term. If anybody want to need more investigation, you can go through. So ignorance also mentioned as that not an absence of knowledge in according to the reality. So, and in this picture, that it's very funny that when you were a kid, we learn we know the story about that. So it can make us sense like they don't know the reality actually, because this story about the blind man and an elephant. So one is touch the elephant's tail, so if you feel like a rope. So actually it's not a rope, but it seems to be a rope because he can't see, he can't see. But yeah, so someone touch it, same thing, they said it's like a snake. So it's all about ignorance, all about the, it's a good, it's a nice puzzle. So not knowing the reality as it is ignorance. So not knowing reality as it is, to identifying not knowing, we have to use our wisdom energy, some energy from the wisdom. And wisdom, and I tell you again that I repeat again, wisdom is you can categorize by practicing the morality, because morality can help us to understand what is right and what is wrong. So moral practice is basic ethics. Also, to identify morality as morality, we have to use our, it is the wisdom. So morality in this, moral practice is the foundation to enter into the gate. So, and in the Eastern way, we say morality is like a basement to enter into the gate of Dharma. So it's like a basic principle. So without practicing morality, we cannot go beyond. So morality, we can say that like as a lay practitioner, we have 5 precepts. These 5 precepts are abstain from killing. Killing means like not only the killing people, abstain from killing animal. So all living beings, all sentient beings. So abstain from killing from any living beings, living creature, abstain from stealing, abstain from speaking lie, abstain from sexual misconduct, and abstain from intoxicant. So these are basic principles about your morality. And also another one is the 6 perfections. In Theravada Theravada tradition, they explain about 10 perfection, and Vajrayana and Mahayana tradition, they said 6 perfections. So this is also part of the morality. So morality is somehow like we can say that another popular term in Thailand and Bangladesh and Myanmar, Sri Lanka, the monks, they're using morality like our clothes, like sila. It's like our clothes. So I mean, we can just imagine that if we don't have a cloth, how can we look like? So our morality is such as like our cloth. So moral practice is a gate. Then we can concentrate. Then you can move forward with good understanding, and our wisdom is grow up. So that's therefore, according to the Sutra Nipata, one of the texts, it said morality is purified by wisdom, and wisdom is purified by morality. So wisdom grows by practice and by continuing the practice of morality.
Joy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, back even at Buddha's time, I'm sure in terms of for those who are not vegetarian, I'm sure back then not everybody is a vegetarian growing rice in the rice field and growing vegetable. So I've always had this problem with this very, very fundamental base of Buddhism, is that it has to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, it's actually a big topic to discussion, but I just telling that His Holiness Dalai Lama, in this point, Dalai Lama said that when I was in Tibet, I was not vegetarian because I did not have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So because Tibet, that it's high mountain area, and it was very difficult, and they can't grow up vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
No way, because on the snow, on the land of the snow. But when he came to India and he became a vegetarian, because he said, I had a choice. So it's a big concept. But the thing is that, killing not really appreciated, and it's really not really appreciated by any sage, any good practitioner, any wise people from any tradition, no matter he should be Buddhist or not Buddhist. It doesn't matter. It's matter about the how the mental state it is. So of course that we have to concern our body, and what I like to say that we need to follow the middle way, but avoid the killing. About all the killings, but we need proteins. But we can, if we find the proteins from other beans and some other vegetable, so yeah, we continue to eat this thing. And it's more about for our understanding, like my understanding, like killing is not appreciated, no matter is animal or human being, because animal has their own consciousness, and they also feel painful when they're killing, and also this make the a kind of the very destructive mind. And it's not really, you can see that the people who really used to slaughter on something, their mental state is not really pure. I mean, they don't I'm nobody to judgment their others' mind, but that you can see their daily behavior. They don't have compassion. So compassion is that compassion or loving kindness is very deep practice. It's a higher practice, actually. It's very advanced practice. So in Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, the practitioners, the traditional way, and Bangladesh too, they encourage that the practice in loving kindness it's just like as mother love her offspring, in the same way, one need to extend his loving kindness for every single beings. So that is the proper way for practicing loving kindness. So if I think this animal in the like is another being who is struggling for animals, animal life, for their life, so its killing is really not really I mean it's not make sense, like it's very harmful action, you know. It's because he also have a fear, like if someone like is attempting to kill that like cow or buffalo or beef, I mean making them, so it's very painful for them, for this animal. So it's not really not really appreciating. So Buddhist term, like before they start the teaching, normally they take a vow, the 5 precepts, very strongly. Normally they start to, they go for, that's why they feel the morality is the, practicing these precepts. And morality is the gate to enter. So no matter how wise he is, no matter how talented he is, how brilliant this guy is, but if he doesn't practice the morality or precepts, it's something like not making like exact way of practitioner's life,
So it depends
yeah.
on the intention then.
Intention, yeah.
So if for instance, if a tiger is in front of me, excuse me, to protect myself, I will have to kill it. Or if there's a lot of mosquitoes and around, there's no way to get around it, even though the mosquitoes, has consciousness. So the intention is to protect. Well, you have to first protect oneself. So, but my intention to then kill a tiger who's lying there with babies all around, I mean, that kind of killing I can understand as morality.
Yeah. Actually, everybody have a right to protect his or her own life, Yeah, it is such a big topic, but
okay,
but what I understand,
I don't want to hold it up, but it's just that for me, it has always bothered me from all the teachers that I've gotten answers from, and is that you don't kill even a on a web that there's a somehow you don't go and you can have web all over your house, but you don't go kill the animal or the insect that's creating that web. And so anyway, so thank you for just clarifying that a little bit.
Okay, you are welcome. So so then we get back to our avidya, our ignorance. So ignorance is just in briefly again repeat that ignorance is an absence of the knowledge and vision to reality. So we go back to the another one. I like this actual explanation. It's Ajahn Sumedho. He's very respected monk, Western monk, but he lives he ordained in the early 60s in Thailand, like disciple of Ajahn Chah, very well known teacher. So Ajahn mentioned that Ajahn Sumedho. Ajahn means the venerable or teacher. In Thai, it is a Thai word. Ajahn said, the root of ignorance is the illusion of self. It's so I understand that his reason to explain that the illusion of self is like about, when you are very, it's more about the ego-ness, our ego. So somebody is struggle the whole life for struggle against their ego. So as long as the ego is the more, they block their heart. They can't open minded. They can't accept what is, some other good point. They lost the point. Somehow they move to the, they lost their sense to indicate what is right and what is wrong. So, so our illusion meant as illusion of the self, like it is also like, it's a big ego. So self, the concept of self in Buddhism is talk about the more I, me, mine. So all of grasping, all about the attachment, all about the desire. So it's more about it's more cause for ignorance. So according to the dependent, this formula of dependent origination, I like to say that the illusion of self is is also about your desire and attachment. So both are so ignorance, desire, or craving, and attachment or clinging. So these are somehow the root, the cause for all the dukkha or suffering. So now we are sorry. So self, then again back to another term. So self, by illusion of self, it's considered as of course, is a wrong view, and it's I grasping. This is my pen. This is my property. Mine. It's make more habitual drives. It create the more more sankhara. It's fabricate more and more. So it's about more intentionally and psychologically. It's impact very largely. So by self, it drives into the wrong view. And the wrong view, it's projection of the habitual drives and habit or karma or habitual process. So as we know, the karma is one of the very important concept in Buddhism. So karma, in general, we just say that is if we believe in karma, that means we know that if we do something good, good things comes to us back. Or if we do something bad or unwholesome, so we have to accept our bad consequences. So this is just a general concept about in belief in karma in terms of Buddhism. But karma, it also like we create our own karma by own way. So we are the owner of our own action. So what is karma or habitual drives? Ranges from the internal psychological plane to the outer realm of action. This habitual process then manifests in terms of body, speech, or mind, all such manifestations being termed mental formation. So now we can see the process. With the origination of ignorance, mental formation arises. So we can see that, by ignorance, someone is, they don't, they are, because of the ignorance, they really, lost the track. They can't, they can't see they're doing the wrong. But yes, how the process is, we can see the process from ignorance, how the mental formation is, is growing, is a mental formation have been growing up. So now we are we move to our next link about mental formation. So Sankara. Actually, Pali and Sanskrit, this term have many translation, but in this my project, my work, I just remain on the one translation. Within Sankara, we translate as mental formation. So our next thing, like mental formation, it also translates as essential condition or mental coefficient. It was translated by our one of the very good dictionary. There are a few dictionary there we are using always. This is the Api Buddhadatta Mahatera, one is a very very good translator. He was actually considered as one of the teacher of Bhikkhu Bodhi as well. So he translated as the coessential condition or mental coefficient. And Sankara, another way of explanation of Sankara or mental formation, translate as habitual tendency, whether it is positive or negative, that leads the mind to attachment. So, like again, I give example, like ignorance, like this is my property. This is my property. It is my, I always emphasize I, me, mine, self. So this is ignorance. So I emphasize, overemphasizing, this is my property, this is my pen, this is my car, or this is my, my family, or everything. It's like, it's like make our habit, in the same way, our action, like, like some of our verbal speech, we are not careful when we deliver some of the word, we forget, or some body action, some intentionally or unintentionally, some people like to fight. So, it moves to more problematics, more habit. So every day, if they do the same stuff, same thing, their habits, this grow up. It's very difficult, when it became more habit, it became difficult to tame. So by body, by speech, and by mind, our thought also, we can take it as a, our thought habit, it's our mental formation too. So actually this picture I collect from the mall. Someone is selling some showpiece. So anyway, so I'd like to share that it's very, like, no, don't have a wrong speech, wrong listening, or wrong, wrong seeing, wrong viewing. So it's actually make us habit, we do have, it became like our habitual tendencies. So in the sutra of the discourse of dependent origination, it mentioned about the volitional formation or mental formations. There are three. These are bodily volitional formation, the verbal volitional formation, and the mental volitional formation. Actually, this translation from Bhikkhu Bodhi, actually, he said in the sutra, he mentioned only volitional formation, but the rest of the term, like, maybe to make it more, I guess that the meaning, the reason he used the term, like, to explain about the third one, to categorize the mental volitional formation, maybe this, So again, that we can see that in this sutra of dependent origination, in the formula, with the origination of ignorance, mental formation arises. Now we can see the process, how the mental formation is originate from ignorance. So it is all about the action. Mental formation, it drives to action of your present doing, such as like a bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. So mental action is considered as the very important one. So from our mind, like, mind is a driving force for every single action, whether it is good or bad, wholesome or unwholesome. So the mental action is, we need to discipline our, our mind. One need to be, sometimes, because of the undisciplined mind, it creates a lot of problem, a lot of dukkha, a lot of sufferings. So one need to be bring the mind in systematic order, within right way, within disciplinary ways. So this is the wisdom to understand what need to do. This is wisdom. This is not ignorance. That is the reversing order of dependent origination. So we can see that, how the ignorance grows the mental formations. So the next one, that so at this point, anyway, at this point, that do we have any kind of any question? Then
Yes, Doctor.
yeah.
Chowdhury, I just want to quickly ask this thing about the mental formations. Would at this stage, would the unwholesome roots of greed and hatred, and I suppose delusion, ignorance would come under delusion, I suppose. Would they? I mean, we are there latent, hidden within us,
Yeah.
latent roots, and we have no control of it. It's from our past karma, I suppose. The energies are there within us, and we're not aware of it. It just comes from somewhere. So that's why we need to be mindful. So would that come into play here? Is that this mental formation? I mean, it is for sankhara, the volitional.
Yes, I think I got your question actually. That for explaining this one, I'd like to show you that this one. Okay, so you said the past and latent your ignorance. So in this circle, in this diagram, you can see the 12 links of dependent origination. So as you know that in the later, I mean, we will discuss this one also, this point in our next few session. So we categorize this link into 3 periods, just for your for your convenience to know, like past, present, and future. So this avidya, ignorance, and mental formation is considered about the past doing, past karma, past action. Now we are moving to the present action. So it is still latent. Actually, I like this translation too. I also read somewhere. Our intention is, as a mental action, is always there. Is someone is sometimes latent, sometimes appeared into its outer forms. It delivers. So, but understand each level of the mind, each level of the chitta, so it's a bit of hard work somehow. We need to have that clear understanding, like a crystal thought, how to say that, pure water, such as like a. So we can see the process, you can, but it is still there. A lot of our action latent is still there. And I like to give one example. Like, I like to say that the term, the translation of enlightenment as awakening one. Awakening one, that means like we still have a lot of the habitual patterns, habitual action in our daily life. But when you're aware, we are doing something overdoing, we need to stop it. Like, for example, like I like French fry. For example, this example, don't take personally. So I like to eat French fry in my lunch, in my dinner, or almost every day. So so it's I like it, you know. I like this food, you know. I know that this is the I love this food, and it's always here. It's my desire. So every day I'm eating, every afternoon and dinner I'm taking it, you know, overtaking it, and it costs a lot of, you know, I pay a lot of you know, every day this junk food, you know. So it's not really healthy, but I need to because since if I awaken in this object, I don't do overdoing this part. Then I have to be stop my latent you know, sankhara, that yes,
Yeah.
you need to stop it. So that's, you have to, now I have to work out with my ignorance.
Yes.
So I think it makes sense, right?
Awareness, mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Yeah. So then, okay. So now we still have a little bit time. So we go to our third link of dependent origination. So we have done just start from ignorance. We said in the forwarding order. So we have done with the condition of ignorance, mental formation arise. Then with the condition of mental formation, consciousness arise. So now we have come to the third link of dependent origination. So it is very vast area. Consciousness studies, you know, is very vast. So we translate as actually the original term is Vijnana in Pali, and Sanskrit say Vijnana. But we remain as this term, only consciousness in this term. So we can say that our sankhara, our mental formation, it produce, I mean, that our, you know, with the condition of mental formation, our consciousness, it originates. So like you can remember our sankhara, our habitual tendencies. So it can grow our mental quality. So like I give example like French fry. I'm overdoing. I love it. I do it. I eat it too much. So my mental quality, I mean, my mind, you know, my mental state is it's you know, it operates that, you know, to want more and more and more French fry. It's some such as like my level of the mind, the quality of the mind. It's now, you know, it's now with our habit, our habitual tendency. It's growth. So it create a more karma by intentionally, and you know, sometimes some of the habit can cause for more problem. So some of the habit is for good purpose too, like doing something, practicing the 6 perfections is something good habit. But of course, this is the wisdom that we need to understand, that what is the middle way. Don't need to go very extreme way, you know. So we have to know, we have to stay with our own boundary. We have to be aware of the reality of our own condition, our own life. So that's why the forwarding orders, it says that from the mental formation, our consciousness, our mental quality is grows. So consciousness is one of the very key term, and actually you can see the term of consciousness in every single, you know, is related to all the 12 links, all of the factors, 12 factors. So consciousness is just we can it can be the mental quality, and it is happening by intention. So intention is the karma. So our intention, we create our own intention. We, it is our own mental formation too. And if you do intentionally something good, we can able to contribute some wholesome karma. And if we do intentionally something wrong, we will be, consequently some unwholesome karma will be, will grow. So I think it is a really big topic. We just started. I think we can stop this point. Like we just say that with the condition of the mental formation, consciousness arise. So is there any kind of question? Because we are aware of the time. Maybe we continue the consciousness start from our next class. So yeah, is there any kind of inquiry or any reflection, please?
I really like your drawing. That makes it very, very clear.
Oh, it's not my drawing. Actually, it's from Buddha Doodles. There's one website. They're doing very good job.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's very visually very, very, very clear.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. So is there any kind of reflection or any question? So please, it's going to help us too.
I like the word formation. Yeah, formation. That it reflects in terms of something that I inform, and from information, then that gives me that. Also, I have that choice of taking from my information and formulate that. So the formation, I think, is a word with a more energy in terms of taking information and having the choice, therefore becoming my own mental state.
Right. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. But it's actually a huge topic, huge topic. We just try to understand in the general way, like to see that in general, like how it can be, coming to our understanding level, and how it can be make the sense, like how ignorance and related to the mental formation, and mental formation into sublinked to consciousness. So yeah.
Okay.
So that means that we all good. So is any kind of any question still, because it's very complicated. It is true that this teaching is very complicated somehow, and the entire text, entire scripture, they try to explain that how it could be. And based on this literature, a lot of philosophical ideas from 1,000 years development. So Buddhist tradition, Buddhist studies is very vast topic. Somehow, it's 1,000 years of the, a lot. It's still a lot of scholars and monastic people. They're producing a lot of literatures about this. Still in the developing process. Been 2,600 years old, but still, people like to be practitioners and people like to clarify their investigation. So okay, so that means we all are good, and so we can. I hope that we all understand. So as the Buddha, as the Buddha said that if we understand the dependent origination, we can see the truth. So that means we are on the process, on our way to see our truth. Thank you very much for all of your attention. So we hope to see you next week. And also, please, any kind of discussion topic, anything you can write down on Canvas. Canvas have a one option like a reflection on this class, and also I also uploaded a few of the reading stuff. So you can, if you like to go more, you can go. And also please feel free to ask anything. You can write to me, also write Canvas as well. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
that's all. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.